Okay, good night, everyone. Welcome back as we learn quite a difficult Tublat this evening for the Yeshpizin of Yosef, as we wish everybody a good night. And it is really a privilege and an honor to have all of you give for your time on a very, very busy time of the year. But what could be better than learning Torah on Sukkot? You know, Rav Miller says that there was no generation that had an awareness of Hashem like the generation that we recall on Sukkot. They was known as the Dardeya. I mean, they were in a place where there was no food. 3 million people with no food. Without the mun, they would have all died. They had a rock traveling around. They gave them water. They had a rock that gave them water to 3 million people. These people saw Hashem. That's the meaning of Dardeya. You know, they had the knowledge of Hashem. Baruch Hashem, Yom Yom Yanmas Lanu. You know, Moshe Rabbeinu wrote benching about the mun, right? So he wrote in benching, Tomid lo yichasar lanu. Constantly, we never lacked food. Hashem gave us, every person got the portion of mun that satisfied them completely. It was an amazing thing. And we ask, V'al yelzam, we should never be lacking of food. Okay, so now we're back, and the Gemara again attacks what Shmuel said. No, Shmuel said that when the Mishnah says if you put the blood in the wrong place, he said that it's only the meat that's possible, but it affects kapara. So the Gemara asks, Meisvei, if let's say the Kohen has a machshava that he's going to put the blood of the Oila, which is supposed to go below the line, he's going to put it above the line. Or if he has in mind the blood of the Chatas, which is supposed to go above the line, he's going to put it lamata. Or lamata, the blood of the oila that's supposed to be below, he's going to put it lamala. If he has in mind la'alter, to do it right away, kosher, because there's no psul machshava that you're going to put it in the wrong location. You shouldn't think that way. Why should you think that way? But there's no psul like that. Chazar v'chishiv, if then he had another thought, troublemaker. Chazar v'chishiv chutz l'mekaymai, that he's going to eat it or smoke it up outside of the proper place, puzzle, v'ein boikaris. Chutz l'zmanai, if he has in mind that he's going to eat it or smoke it up after its time, past its expiration date, pigel, then it's pigel, v'chayav alav karis, and if you eat it, you chayav karis. Says the Gemara, here it says, if he has in mind, the next case is, if he has in mind that he's going to put the blood in the wrong place, lamachar, on the next day, puzzle. Chazav v'chishav, then he has in mind, bein chutz l'zmanai, bein chutz l'mekaymai, a machshava of chutz l'zmanai or chutz l'mekaymai, even though he has a machshava chutz l'zmanai, which normally makes it pigel, but since he first had in mind that he's going to do it tomorrow in the wrong place, so therefore puzzle v'ein boikaris. But why? If when he does it in the wrong place, it's like the right place. Now here's an interesting thing. When you have in mind to do the zrika chutzels manai, that makes a pigel. Now here he says that if he has in mind l'machar to do it in the wrong place the next day, possible. But asks the Gemara, why should it only be possible? But if when it's in the wrong place, it's like the right place vis-a-vis kapara, so then that's like an avodah that's kosher that you have in mind to do chutz l'zmanai. Because you had in mind to do it l'machar, so then that should be an isakaris. High puzzle pigalhu. Says the Gemara, I'll tell you why. The only thing that can make it pigel is only a machshava of after its time about something that would otherwise permit it to be eaten. But here, it wouldn't be permitted to be eaten because we said if you put it in the wrong place, it's a kapara nesativ, it won't allow it to be eaten. Amamar, zrika desharya basar ba'achila, only zrika that can permit it to be eaten. Ma'isili day pigel brings it to pigel if you have a machshava of l'machar of chutzlas manai. But zrika deloishaya basar ba'achila, but that which won't permit it to be eaten, because if you do it having in mind to do what is below above, what is above below, is not permitting the basar to be eaten. That doesn't bring it to pigel. Says, well, how do we know that? The mind would say just the opposite. If it's even so bad that it won't allow it to be eaten, that should bring it to pigel even more. There's bad, badder, and baddest, like Herschel always knows, So Amalei Rav Ashi l'mazuter minolacha. How do I know that if it's a thought about a zrika in the wrong place that only brings a kapara but doesn't allow it to be eaten, doesn't bring it to pigel? How do I know that? Because it says in the pasuk, Vim hey ochel ye ochel mibzar zevach shlamav pigel yiyah. If you'll eat from the basar of the zevach of a shlamim, it'll be pigel. The only thing that stops you from eating it is only the pigel thought, that it's chutz l'zman, but otherwise you'd be able to eat it. Misha piguloi garim loi. The only thing that causes it not to be able to be eaten is the machshava of doing it l'machar. Yotzazeh, but over here where you had in mind also to do it in the wrong place, Yotzazeh she'ein piguloi garim loi. It's not the pigel that causes it not to be able to be eaten. El issa davar achar garim loi. Says the Gemara, so then maybe it shouldn't be puzzle at all. Why do you say it's puzzle? Maybe it shouldn't be puzzle at all. Ihachi if sulei nami loy lifsel. Says the Gemara, no. Even if you have in mind, we're going to see Rabbi Yehuda says, even if you have in mind that you're going to take the blood and leave it till tomorrow, it's already puzzle. So having in mind to do it in the wrong place is not any better than having it, just leaving it to tomorrow, which already disqualifies it. Just having in mind to leave the blood overnight, when it becomes possible, that's enough for it to be possible. Rabbi Yehuda says that having in mind to leave the blood the next day, it's already possible. Comes along Reish Lakish, and Reish Lakish argues with Shmuel. And Reish Lakish says that if you put the blood in the wrong place, in the ramp, not only is it puzzle, but the avodah is not good. It doesn't even give a kapara. Reish Lakish lama la'olam puzzle mamish. But why? I went on the mizbeach, and the pasuk says it's enough to put it on the mizbeach. So the Gemara says, really, Reish Lakish agrees with that. V'shalai b'mekaymai kimekaymai dami. Reish Lakish holds that if you put it in the wrong place, it's like the right place. However, V'loi kasha kan shenosan b'shtika. If you did it quiet, so then taka, if you put it on the wrong place quietly, then it affords kapara. However, kan shenosan ba'amira. But if you put it on, having in mind to do it in the wrong, after its time, so there it's going to be puzzle. So as Rashi says, umasnisin diktani puzzle. The Mishnah that says it's puzzle b'nosan b'machsheves lechal basar chutz lizmanai. We had in mind to and said that you're going to eat it after its time. Now, normally after its time is pigel, but since you put it in the wrong place, and it doesn't permit it to be able to be eaten, as we said, therefore it only makes it puzzle. As the Gemara says, kan shenosim ba'amira tanan chishav litena sanitan lamata lamala. The Gemara goes through all the questions. This just is telling us that the Gemara goes through all the questions it did for the last Amid, and had the same discussion on Reish Lakish until the last teretz that's going according to Rabbi Yehuda, the Havayat Machshavas Hinuach, where it's not any less than having in mind to leave it without doing anything with it. V'alib Rabbi Yehuda, who says it's possible. Third opinion. Now we're going to have Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan Amar. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Aidi v'aidi shenosim b'shtika." Both are talking about where the kohen didn't have any intent in mind to eat it chutz l'mizmanai. However, v'shaloi b'mekaymai lav k'mekaymai dami. If you put it on in the wrong place, it's not a good at all. It doesn't offer a kapara at all. However, the other Mishnah says if there's some lifeblood left, then you could do it over. If there is some lifeblood left, then you could do it over. If there isn't, it's possible. Tanan, if it's put in its wrong place, puzzle ve'ein by karas. Now, the question is, why would we think this karas? If you put it in the wrong place, doesn't say in the Torah anywhere that this karas. See, according to Reish Lakish, that says it's talking about we also had a machshav of chutz l'zmanai. So there you need to tell us that it's ein by karas, because having a machshav and chutz l'zmanai with putting it in the wrong place where it wouldn't be able to be eaten doesn't make it pigel. Bishleim el Reish Lakish hainu diktani pasel ve'ein by karas. El Rabbi Yochanan, who says it's talking about without a machshav of chutz l'zmanai, ma'ein by karas. There's no reason to think that there should be karas. Says Gemara kasha. That's a good kasha. Gemara doesn't have an answer to that. Says the Gemara of Shmuel, and according to Shmuel, also who learns our Mishnah is talking about where he was quiet, and he holds that the basar isn't permitted, but it offers kapara. What does it mean? My aim by karas. Why would we think there would be karas? Says the Gemara hachi kamer. What it means is that im nasan b'machshava. It's telling you in addition that if you put it on with the machshava of having it chutz l'zmanai, since the meat is not permitted, you can have a machshava that brings to pigel where the meat is not permitted to be eaten for a different reason. Pasal ve'ein by karas. Now, says the Gemara, okay, let's swing back to Rabbi Yochanan, who says that if you put it in the wrong place, it's no good. It doesn't achieve kapara. Rabbi Yochanan, Isha loy b'mekaymai lav k'mekaymai davim. So that if Eddie, well actually Yitzi, puts the blood in the wrong place, it's no good. But remember, this blood was already caught. If putting it in the wrong place is no good, why don't we allow him to collect it up and do it again? Remember, if you caught the blood in a clay shares and it spilled from the clay shares, you could gather it up from the ground. So if putting it there doesn't count at all, why don't we say that he could gather it up and do it again? Let's see the Gemara inside. Then lehave ki nishpach min hakli ad haritzpah. It should be like it fell from the keli to the floor. V'yasvenu, and you should be able to gather it up and do it again. Says the Gemara, he holds that you can't. Savalok commander amar lo yasvenu. He holds like the man the Amar that when the blood spills, you can't gather it up. This is a famous machlokes. Let's see the Gemara inside. Damar Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef amar Rabbi Yochanan. Hakol moed minitan l'mala shnasan l'mala, l'mata shnasan l'mata, shaloi kimitzvasaim. If you did it above, and you put it above, or below, and you put it below, but you did it wrong. For example, you did it with your left hand. Lo yasvenu. You're not allowed to gather up and do it again. Why? Because it was put in the right place. You can't do a do-over once you put it in the right place. Where did they argue? Where you put it in the wrong place. Supposed to go, it's a chatas, it was supposed to go above, you put it below. It was an oila, it was supposed to be below, and you put it above. And you did it the wrong way. You did it with your left hand. Rabbi Yossi says you can't gather it up. Rabbi Shimon Ami Yasvenu. So therefore, our Mishnah is Kedivrei Ayma Lo Yasvenu. Now, as we start, we already did 3/4 of the job. It's unbelievable. It's not even an hour yet. Two very difficult blot, and we're on the home stretch. Says the Gemara. Look at Mark. Says, just give me a big blot already. Sorry, Mark. Sorry. I hope you don't take it out on your wife when the blot is. I hope you don't do that. Otherwise, I'll have to just buy you a bigger Gemara. He'd never take it out on his wife because we have a rule. Midover toiv al tetzera. From something good never comes bad. Something good never comes bad. You know, so I go away. Whenever I go away, of course whenever I go away, of course I'm asked to speak. So I was asked to speak this Shabbos, and one of the things that I said, which I should really share it with my loved ones over here, I remember it's a Sukkot memory of mine, that in the early 70s, I went with my father, Oliver Shalom, with my parents, to the lake house in the mountains. And I caught at the end of his life, Reb Irving Bunim. Reb Irving Bunim, who wrote the beautiful 3-volume Ethics from Sinai on Pirkei Avos. So that Yom Tov, 50 years ago, more than 50 years ago, he was very much at the end of his career, and I was still a teenager. We both spoke that Yom Tov. And he was from the heroes of the Vad Hatzalah. He worked with Mike Tress and Rabbi Aaron Kotler to save Yidden from the Holocaust, to get Yidden visas. He was a great hero, besides a tremendous Talmud Chacham. So I said over this Shabbos that in those days, people were munned. What did you do for the Yidden in Europe? What did you do? People would send money. People would open up their homes that maybe somebody could get a visa because of them. You know, we're nearing the end of the 72 hours for the hostages. We're going to be asked, did you daven for the hostages? They had such a harrowing time. Were you noisei ba'olam chaveira? There's still a little time to daven for the hostages. We're going to be asked. I said this here recently during Aseret Yemei Tshuva. But if you didn't hear it, it's kedai to repeat. The hostages is the incomparable mitzvah of Pidyon Shvuyim. It is considered one of the number one tzedakahs. You're allowed to shift tzedakah money automatically over to Pidyon Shvuyim, to ransom. The Chofetz Chaim sometimes sends somebody on missions of Pidyon Shvuyim. He sent them to travel on Shabbos and Yom Tov. It's Pekuach Nefesh. A girl is in the hands of Goyim. He sent them, and I remember people said, you're traveling on Shabbos and Yom Tov. He said, it's a Beferish Mishnah Berurah. They said, where? So what do you mean the Chofetz Chaim said that? That's a Beferish Mishnah Berurah. The Chofetz Chaim said it. And yet, when Yosef Mendelovich asked Rabbi Scherer that he had a niece in Siberia in a jail, and he asked Rabbi Scherer, who had tremendous governmental connections, if he could use his political power to arrange the niece's release. So Rabbi Scherer said that the only person that could achieve that was Henry Kissinger. And he was close with Henry Kissinger. But he said that there was a problem because Henry Kissinger was about to start a senatorial bid to be a senator. And he would want that Rabbi Scherer would promise his support. But Henry Kissinger was married to a Goyish woman. And it would be a Chilul Hashem to support someone was married to, so he's allowed to do that. So Rav Moshe was already ill, so he asked Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky. Rabbi Scherer said it's the only time that he knew him. He knew him probably for 50 years. The only time he knew him that Rabbi Yaakov told him he has to think about it. The next day he called him up and he said, I'm sorry, there's almost nothing as important as Pidyon Shvuyim, but I could not find any heter that Chilul Hashem should be pushed away for Pidyon Shvuyim. And you cannot ask Henry Kissinger. This just gives us an idea how serious Chilul Hashem is. It's just so scary. You don't even push it aside for Pidyon Shvuyim. I'm thinking, I'm asked, just got a call right before the Shir Berish Saw, was asked to speak to 700 children Sunday morning. And I'm wondering if I should tell them this story as a impetus that they should behave with their English teachers. You know, the importance of avoiding a Chilul Hashem. Anyway, getting back, Mark says, stop with the chit-chat. Mark, it's very hard, you know, all right, listen. I'll stop with the chit-chat.
Rabbi, these are gems.
So anyway, V'Rav Chisda Amar Avimi Hakol Moedim B'nitonin Lamata Shenitnin Lamala, where it was supposed to put it below and he put it above, but it went on the Mizbeach, Shelo Yasvenu. V'kol Shechein B'nitonin Lamala Shenitonin Lamata, and surely that which is put above that went below, you put below, because that which is above anyway descends to below. So that's his place also. Everybody agrees that since it went on the Mizbeach, you can't gather it up and do it over. If you did it the first time wrong with the left hand. Now, the only shaila is if you put it in the wrong place entirely. Like the par of the Sanhedrin that was supposed to be put inside, shenitnim b'chutz, that was done outside, or b'chutz, it's supposed to be outside, shenitnim l'fnim, that you brought inside. Shirab Yaisi, since it was all in the wrong place, completely yasvenu. Rab Shimon Shimon says lo yasvenu. Even so, you can't gather up and do it again. Now, here the Gemara is going to show us an example of what's the din if it was put still on the Mizbeach. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak afanan nami tanina. Now there's a halacha that stuff that's not supposed to go on the fire, once you consign it to the fire, you leave it there. Im Allah lo teirid. If it went up, you don't take it down. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak afanan nami tanina Rab Yehuda Omer zois hiya oila. This is the oila. Now, those are three miyutim. Zois, this, not something else. He, it, and not something else. And ha'oila, this, with ha'ayadiyah. Harielu miyutin, three miyuts, to tell me that there's three things that if you put it on, you take it off. Prat l'nishcha b'layla, if you slaughter it in the night. V'shinish b'dama, the blood spilled. Or v'shiyatza dama chutz l'klam, or the blood was taken out of the azara. There, even if you put it on, you got to take it off. Im also teire. Reb Shimon says, no. Leave it on. Reb Shimon Amar Ola. Ola means put it up. Ainli Eloi l'ksheira, minayin l'rabbis, even these three cases. Shenishka tabalayla, who was slaughtered in the night. V'shinish b'dama, or its blood spilled straight onto the floor. Or v'shiyatza dama chutz l'klam, or the blood was taken outside. Or v'alon, if it was left overnight, v'yotze, if it was taken completely outside the carbon, v'tamei, or if it was tamei, v'shenishchat chutz l'zmanei, or if it was slaughtered after its proper time, chutz l'kamera, outside of its place, v'shekibel psulim, or if a zar caught the blood, v'zar kes dama, and sprinkled the blood. V'anitan l'mala, shenit l'mata, v'anitan l'mata, shenit l'mala, was done in the wrong place, v'anitan l'mfnim, shenit l'mechutz, v'anitan l'mechutz, shenit l'mefnim. That which is supposed to be outside, you did inside, that was inside, you did outside. V'apesach v'chatas, which you have to do l'shma, sheshachtan shaloi l'shman, minayin. How do you know even if all of these mistakes, if you put it up, you don't take it down? Talmud Leimer, Teiras ha'oila. Could have said oila, goes up. Teiras, it is a riba. Riba Teira achas l'kol ha'oilin. It includes one law for all those that go up. Shem alu lo yardu. If you put it up, you don't take it down. Yachol shani marbe, even afaroiveya, an animal that was active partner in bestiality, vanirva, passive partner in bestiality, vamuksa, an animal that was set aside as a sacrifice to avodah zarah, vanevad, an animal that was worshipped for idolatry, vaesnan, an animal that was used to pay a harlot, vamechir, an animal that was exchanged for a dog, vakloyim, a hybrid, vatreif, an animal that can't live a year, v'yaitze daifen, or an animal that was born for the Syrian section. Talmud Leimer Zeis, that's a miyut. That these, if you put on, you take them down. He says, why from Torah do you exclude the first category? He says, from Zois you exclude the second category. The first category, show you psulim b'kodesh. In other words, they were fit, and then they became puzzle inside because of some technical hektish law. But I exclude the second category that are invalidated from before because they were pay of a harlot, because they were in bestiality. But let's get back to our subject. It was put above instead of below, or below instead of above. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't argue, and he says that if these are put on the mizbeach, they should remain on the mizbeach. My time la mishum dekalte mizbeach, because they're accepted by the mizbeach, and once they're accepted by mizbeach, then you cannot gather it up and do a do-over if you did it the first time with your left hand. Vishmami no lo yasvenu. Now, Amar Rebbe Eliezer. It's unbelievable. We're almost finished, and it's only an hour and 1 minute. Yes.
Why are we?
We were almost finished, except that Barish says it's too early. His wife will not understand him coming home so early. Yes.
I understand we're dealing with lamata lamala. Why the left hand has to be a condition also?
No, the left hand. If you did it lamata instead of lamala, it would achieve kapara. It just wouldn't allow it to be eaten. But once you do it left hand, it doesn't achieve kapara. And now we want to know, could you gather the blood and do it over with the right hand?
So then it could just be with the left hand in the right place.
No. Because if it's in the left hand in the right place, for sure you can't do it over. Question: if it's in the left hand in the right in the wrong place, is it like it's spilled on the ground that you could gather it up?
What if the person's a lefty?
Makes no difference. Avodah has to be with the right hand. Now, Amar Rebbe Eliezer, Mizbeach hapnimi mekadesh psulim. That if on the Mizbeach Hazav, now usually karbanos are never put in the Mizbeach Hazav, but if you brought something that shouldn't be there on the Mizbeach Hazav, we say Yem Allah lo yered. So the Gemara says, "My kamash malon." What's the chiddush? Tanina anitanim b'fnim shenisna b'chutz. So anitanim b'chutz shenitanim b'fnim. Something that was supposed to be put on the outside, and you put on the inside. A chatas that was supposed to be on the outside, and you put the blood on the inside. It's b'diavad im Allah lo yered. Says Gemara. That's talking about blood. Blood I understand, because the Mizbeach Hazav does accept blood. It accepts blood on Yom Kippur, the Par Kohen Gadol, the Sor La Hashem of Yom Kippur. But Aval Kaimitz, a Kamitza never goes on the Mizbeach Hazav. A Mincha never goes. I might think if you put a Kamitza on the Mizbeach Hazav, you should take it down. Aval Kaimitz, Lo Yichazalei, Emaloi, Kamash Malon. Says the Gemara, Meisvei, Torah Zara, She'ala Legabi Mizbeach Teirit. If let's say you put Torahs, now on the Mizbeach Hazav we put the normal incense, but it has to be the 11 exact Torahs that the Torah says. Right? The Torah gives us the whole list. But if you put in a different compound, you have to take it down. She'ein loch mekadesh psulim ela Mizbeach hachitzin. The only thing that's Mekadesh and accepts is only the Mizbeach HaChitzim for that which is supposed to go on it. Chitzin in Pnimi like. So the Gemara says, no, I'm telling you, you're reading it wrong, and this is the correct version. Taritzachi. Ketores zara she'olsa lemizbeach hachitzin. If a foreign ketores goes on the outer altar, terit. The mizbeach pnimi can accept things even that are not supposed to be on there, like a kmitza. The mizbeach hachitzin, the outer altar, is not so powerful. If you put the wrong ketores on the mizbeach hachitzin, you got to take it down. She'ein mizbeach hachitzin mekadesh psulin el ha'roiloi. Only that which goes supposed to go on there. Ketores never go on the outer altar. V'apnimi, the inner altar, is all powerful. Bein roiloi, bein she'ein roiloi. Whether it's fit, whether it's not fit. So now the Gemara says, why is the mizbeach zav in the inside more powerful? My timer. Because high ritzpah, the mizbeach hachitzin is only an elevated floor of the azara. It's not a klei shoris in itself. It's not a ministering vessel in itself. High ritzpah, it's only an elevated floor. On the other hand, the mizbeach hazav is one of the holy klei shoris. It's one of the holy vessels. High klei shoris, the mizbeach hazav is a klei shoris, and therefore it could be mekadesh even something which is not fit for it, like the kmitza. Now, I want to tell you, Rabbi Isai, you could all pat yourself on the back. I mean, this was a tremendous job. You know, a yeshiva that's learning kachim, they would spend on these 2 blot 2 weeks.